there is the often romantic fantasy of soulmates that somewhere out there, there's someone just for you. And you just have to find them. And that's all sweet and wonderful. Well, there are two possibilities. One, of course, it's absolute nonsense, and there isn't any one, and relationships are work and whatnot, and you got to make them happen, and all that sort of stuff. Or it is true, but the reason you never met them is, well, they died before you met them. Hey, look, what's your explanation? Well, then, thanks to Tales from the Loop and in parallel, there's also a possible either asterisk to this or a third possibility that your soulmate exists in another reality. So this is a common trope from science fiction, and here we have Tales from the Loop dealing with it. And it's somewhat connected to a previous episode. I mean, you meet other people who they were the center of the story, and that's, it's about this this town or whatever. I don't even know what the name is. I don't think they ever mentioned it. Where the loop exists. And so again, be careful what you mess with, because you never know what it's going to do to you. But here we get a look at this man we've seen a couple of times in the background here. He's a guard for the facility of where the loop is. And now we get his story. Well, he's a very lonely man. And but he gets the opportunity for love. But of course, it's not in the usual way. And it answers or posits some answers to this, in that I guess not exactly be careful what you wish for, I suppose, but still, I'm reminded of the line from Star Trek where Spock is getting married and didn't go so well, and then he tells the other man that is getting his betrothed. And he tells him wanting and having are not necessarily the same. Having is not as good as wanting it. All of that. And, of course, the ultimate lesson of this is, again, relationships are work. And the romantic fantasy aspect of it is only fulfilled in the beginning moments of coming together. You meet someone, there's that excitement, the attraction, and then it's mutual, which is just, overwhelmingly great. And then you get to know each other and whatnot. And then, hey, you hit it off, you get married, what have you. And then the work comes in because, fantasy and reality are nowhere near the same, and you have to come back to earth. And then that's where the work comes in, where you have to make this work, and and you have to just accept. Suddenly you notice the flaws that they have. It points out the flaws that you have, and so on and so forth. And that's the way it goes. And boy, if you could slip off to a parallel universe and all that, there are elements of that your other self could tell you. And you might not want to hear it, but and if you don't listen to it, then you'll just experience it. And such is the case here. Without going into detail, I don't like to go with Tales from the Loop. And I'm starting to take it with Dark as well, where I just don't absolutely tell everything, but because these are shows that you really need to experience. You can't just go point by point and there you got it. You really need to sit through it and all that. So that's what the show deals with, and it has these with this fantastical nature of it. You have these possibilities of exploring things by which you would wonder about your own choices in life. And again, that's really the ongoing theme of it, and this is no different. And I've been rather satisfied with the series. And this one, if there's one flaw in it, it's kind of like, how did his other self not know what was, and well, in a roundabout, in another way, he did, but he should have known better. So, and in some elements, I thought, good Lord, this could go off into a really dark place, but it didn't. It's all rather quiet and simple. And in that way, it lends a bit of more credibility to these stories about, there's no big action or anything like that. And that actually is a strength for this series, because look, you've seen those, and even seeing another would be all right if it's done well and everything. But in this, it's just this rather sad, and the pain of loneliness and that sort of thing, and it's explored well here. And then ultimately, if there's any lesson to be in it, when you don't get to achieve your romantic fantasy, it's not that terrible of a thing to settle. And and because it was always going to be that way, even with your amazing wonder, true love, real life is going to intrude. It's going to invade that fantasy and bring it down to earth. So ultimately, if you can't have the one you love the one you're with, as the song goes, and a lot of wisdom in that. And ultimately, that's where we are. But again, I notice, if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Another character from a previous episode and what she went through, and her pursuit of love and whatnot. And it seems to be that this, I don't know what it is, battery or power source can manipulate time and dimensions and whatnot. And in this case, it's the parallel world. There's some elements of it they just sort of mention. There appears to be an extinct species of bird that exists here. There's apparently a musician who doesn't exist. And things like that. You can think of the other aspects of it, but it doesn't go much further than that, because we really don't know where this town is. What world is it? Well, I guess this is also an alternate reality. Obviously, there's nothing like this. So, and of course, the actual science fiction is always just the backdrop, and it's cool, it's interesting. You actually have they call it a tractor, but it looks more like a combine harvester. But there's no wheels because it's got anti-gravity abilities. It just floats there. So anyway, yes, another pretty good one. This is that one little tidbit of a flaw, maybe, sort of, kind of. The story does kind of where maybe he did know and he just didn't want to confront. I don't know. But another one that explores these questions, and it also comes into the maybe, shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe, might be, and all that type of stuff, more or less, which is usually resolved through like time travel or something like that. Whereas here, you get a view of what your life could have been, and probably the life you wanted, until you get it or see it, however you want to play it out. And well, not exactly always what you want, not entirely careful what you wish for, but pretty close. So there you go. Tales from the Loop, Parallel. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. Hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.